You know, I'm not even surprised anymore when I hear about some creepy stuff going on in the animal kingdom. When amateur photographer Sam Davis accidentally snapped a snake eel dangling from a heron's gut, he was shocked. The bird just kept flying as if it wasn't recreating a scene from The Alien. But if the photographer knew what snake eels are capable of, he wouldn't be so surprised. When predators eat them, snake eels don't die right away. Most of the species in this eel family are 8 to 12 inches long, but generally not wider than several inches. Their thin, long bodies simply slip inside the predator without even being injured along the way. A swallowed eel uses its sharp, hard-pointed tail tip designed for digging to burst through the stomach of an animal. This must be done quickly before the digestive process to start, so eels are in a hurry. But just getting out of the stomach isn't enough to save them. Usually, snake eels fall prey to fish because they can't burrow through the fish's ribcage. It's just too hard. So the eels are trapped, slowly dying, then slowly mummifying in the predator's gut cavity. Sometimes snake eels remain in the fish until the fish itself is caught by the fishermen. Several large fish have been reported to have several dead snake eels inside at once. And you know, the fish that swallowed the eels are actually lucky, because some of them swallow crabs whole, which is a very, very bad idea. Crabs are not only quite tenacious, but also have sharp pinchers that help them break through any obstacles. Though actually many predators have problems with animals they really shouldn't have eaten, even sharks. It would seem, who can possibly cause problems for a hungry shark? I got one word to say to that: pufferfish. In April 2017, a lemon shark was spotted off the coast of Ba Atoll in the Maldives, thrashing around close to the shore. Unfortunately, by the time a marine biologist arrived, the shark had already died, with a pufferfish sticking out of its mouth. Most likely facing a deadly opponent, the pufferfish did what pufferfish do in such situations. It inflated its body, blowing up to several times its usual size, and hooked onto the inside of the shark's throat and mouth with its sharp spines. Perhaps the predator would be happy to spit it out, especially since sharks can do this, but each attempt made the spines dig in even deeper. Eventually, the pufferfish blocked the flow of water through the shark's gill chamber, causing the shark to suffocate. The prickly prey also died. But the poor lemon shark was young and probably simply didn't realize that the pufferfish was a poor choice of prey. It's a different story when a predator swallows too big of prey simply out of greed, well, or if its hunger got the best of it. You've probably been there. You come to a cafe, order a bunch of items on the menu, and then have no idea how you're going to eat them all. Thankfully, people can stop when they're full, unlike Burmese pythons. A farmer in Thailand was looking for his missing cow and stumbled across a snake. The man immediately noticed that the python was too stretched and its stomach literally ruptured. The python must have been hungry and spotted the cow. Then it strangled the prey and swallowed it whole, but it overestimated itself. But this is actually not a rare situation. In 2018 in Florida, a Burmese python weighing about 32 pounds swallowed a young white-tailed deer weighing 35 pounds. Later, the snake died after regurgitating a deer. It couldn't handle prey that big after all. Cormorant is another animal that has problems with eating too much. Cormorants are excellent fishermen, but apparently they're too greedy and voracious. This cormorant, caught on camera in Cheshire, swallowed a fish that was 3 times the width of its throat. But nothing bad happened to the bird. However, that cormorant was just lucky. In southeastern Turkey, vets had to rescue another cormorant that tried to swallow 2 large fish that were nearly the same size as the bird itself. Naturally, the bird would have choked and suffocated if it hadn't been taken to the vets in time. It took about 30 minutes to remove the fish from the bird's throat. The fish bones tore the throat and esophagus of the cormorant, but the bird survived and now has every chance to recover. If, of course, it'll change its eating habits. The bird should at least be more careful in choosing its prey. For example, hunting eels is not a good option, because eels are fighting fiercely for their lives. They squirm, latch onto the bird's beak, and generally try as hard as they can not to get eaten. Sometimes eels win. There's even a photo of an eel simply strangling a cormorant that tried to eat it. Although the eel also died, but it's all a matter of luck, because sometimes odds might be really working in favor of prey. In 2011, on the Greek island of Corfu, a doll's whip snake got free after being eaten by a 4-lined snake. The little snake got help from a cat. Well, it's unlikely that the cat did that on purpose. It simply killed the predator and went on about its day. However, in a few seconds, a doll's whip snake got out of the mouth of the dead snake and slithered away somewhere into the bushes. Looks like it wasn't even hurt. There's another story like that when one snake managed to get out of another. Only this time, the hunter shot down the large predator and the snake inside used the bullet holes as an escape route. I don't know whether this story's true, but it sounds epic. Indeed, there are numerous reports of creatures escaping after being eaten by snakes. And of the snakes that got out of animals that swallowed them, we also know of the snakes that fight back, even if their opponents are many times larger than them. The great blue heron was looking for something to eat when it suddenly found a snake crawling in the grass. Great, fast food it is, the heron probably thought, but the snake had other plans. It coiled itself around the heron's beak so that it practically shut it closed. The stalemate between the animals lasted about 15 minutes, and the stubborn snake refused to give up. Eventually, the heron changed its strategy and started banging its head on the ground until the prey's grip began to loosen. The heron swallowed the weakened snake. However, I wouldn't be surprised if snakes soon evolved so much they learn to tie themselves in a knot around a heron's beak. And then the birds will stand no chance. After all, the Brahmini blind snake has evolved to survive being eaten by frogs or even owls. This snake has no eyes, which makes it easy prey, which is why it had to evolve to become incredibly tenacious and persistent, even more so than Harry Potter. So the snake that lived continues to slither through the frog's digestion tract after being eaten and then simply crawls out of its anus. Brahmini blind snakes are lucky because the frogs mistake them for ordinary worms, though they can't digest the scaled vertebrate. How the snakes manage to get out of owls is another question, to which scientists don't yet have an exact answer. While for the Brahmini blind snake, an attack by a frog or an owl means stress and the need to struggle for its life, certain snails seem to perceive predators as a taxi. According to a study, about 15% of snails eaten by certain bird species survive their journey through the bird's intestines. And not just survive, they can also overcome a huge distance. You've seen a snail, right? Its ability to travel is very limited. However, the snails that survived staying inside the bird are given a unique opportunity to come out together with bird droppings in an entirely new place. This allows the snails to spread over a much larger area than they would without the help of birds, and all they need to do is just spend half an hour passing through someone else's digestive system. Oh yeah, and not die in the process. There are actually more radical methods of survival. Some newts living in the western United States are poisonous. The bacteria living on their skin produce a powerful paralyzing chemical called tetrodotoxin. When animals ingest this poison in small doses, it causes tingling or numbness. Higher concentrations result in paralysis and death, with some newts having enough tetrodotoxin to kill several people. In 1979, a 29-year-old man from Oregon died after swallowing a rough-skinned newt. Don't ask why he did it, and don't repeat his mistakes. It would seem, what does a poisonous newt have to do with escaping right from a predator? The thing is, frogs that have swallowed a newt very quickly succumb to the toxin. So quickly that the prey has time to exit through the mouth before the digestive juices and lack of oxygen affect it. And then I thought, what if some huge animal swallowed a person? Would we have a chance to survive being swallowed and get out unscathed like the animals in this video? Steve and I started digging, and this is what we found. In theory, a large anaconda could swallow a person, but it first strangles the prey, so there's no chance. Other animals like crocodiles will definitely bite before swallowing, so a man won't be able to survive it either. Perhaps a blue whale could swallow a person, but this huge mammal has a surprisingly narrow esophagus. A blue whale can't swallow anything larger than a melon. The only animal big enough to swallow you whole without killing you first or in the process is the sperm whale. Yes, sperm whales use their teeth to catch and hold large prey, but they don't chew. In any case, they don't use their mouth for chewing. This job is delegated to the first of their 4 stomach chambers. The walls of the stomach are very thick and muscular to grind up fish and giant squid before sending them to other chambers to be digested in gastric juices. So what happens to a human in the stomach of a sperm whale? First, they'll be crushed to death. Yes, humans are built different than giant squid, but this won't bother the sperm whale. And second, there's simply no air in the stomach for breathing. So a person will have 3 minutes at best before they suffocate, so you can't count on miraculous escape through various natural holes. However, there's one person who survived being trapped inside the mouth of a huge marine mammal. It's not the same as being in the stomach, but the story is still incredible. Michael Packard was diving for lobsters off the coast of Cape Cod in Massachusetts when he was hit by what felt like a 100-ton lorry. Except it wasn't a lorry, but a humpback whale. When he found himself inside the huge pitch-black cavern, Michael thought he'd been swallowed by a shark, but then he realized the creature was toothless. The man had time to process this and realized he would die. But then the humpback whale suddenly opened its mouth and spat Michael back into the sea. See you later.